Gonna find some shallow area, kind of go over my build with you guys. But people always ask me, will this thing take on rough seas? Now, the chop and the bay is really close together, so you don't have big ups and downs as far as the wave action is concerned. The peaks are small, but still they're close together. You can't fly over them. But the Nucanoe pursuit drains amazingly. I mean, I've nosedived a bunch of them already. You can see my boat's very wet. It's no joke. And I have a lot of weight in this boat today. But you can see the wave action. I mean, it's ridiculous. No white caps. You're talking about a boat that's very low to the water. And you gotta have power, man. This wind's crazy today. You can see it on the water, the ripples. But what I plan to do is go in the shallow area, or at least the covered area up here, to go over my build, and I'm gonna run this thing. Give you guys some 1, 2, 3s on how to set these things up, because a lot of guys buy the engines, they don't even know what they're doing. Not your fault. There's not a guide out there to kind of figure out what to do and what not to do, and so you don't waste, you know, money, of course, and time. But as soon as I park up here, I'll go over everything with you guys. And it's really, even with my systems, you've got to tune them up, get them, you know, accurate as far as the propulsion is concerned. Otherwise, you'll be blowing bubbles, or angles are wrong, or whatever. But all right, so I did a little detour and I moved my seat back. I couldn't take the water coming over the bow. Normally it's not an issue, but today's just extremely rough. So I pushed it back to my sweet spot, because I know the boat will handle wide open with no issue. I felt like the midship just wasn't for me. I tried it, so I pushed everything back. So now I'm gonna go ahead and get some speed. Notice the bow's not pushing water over the bow now. I mean, it's calmer here, don't get me wrong, but it's nothing like a few minutes ago. Of course, 3-foot boat wakes they don't help either. I'll get you some speed now. Let's see what we got. Then I'll take all around images. I'm going to test my sonar in a minute. I changed that, of course. Purring like a kitten. I did make one mistake this morning. I forgot to fully prime my engine. I just basically gave it a couple pushes and cranked it, and I got a little air in the system. That's one thing you do have to do, is you got to make sure you prime it really good. You'll never have to do it throughout the day, but the initial you need to, otherwise you'll get air in it. I mean, the whole slap is totally different. 100%. Like no water coming over. We're in Biscayne Bay, guys, right next to Miami Sea Aquarium, heading around the Bearcut Bridge. Up here is pretty cool, man. They exit all the fish food and nutrients in the water. There's always big fish around this seawall. You notice there's boaters there trying to get bait. Okay guys, so let me give you a few pointers on setting up these systems. You know, whether it be the Kayak Buddy version or a traditional boat. You know, the big misnomer on this is the prop height. And I will tell you, you know, you have to think about, I can't go into water right now, it's just so murky, it's kind of pointless, but I'll try to explain this by kind of looking at it. But on my systems, there's a cavitation plate, and commonly the cavitation plate really should be about 1 inch or so under the flat hull of the boat, the rear transom. So you're not, you know, obviously going to put it too low, because if you do, then you wind up teeter-tottering the motor, and you wind up putting pressure on the back. You have drag, you can't control the angle of the you know, the propulsion. So what I do is, like I said, sometimes when I first started this, I used to get a yardstick, and believe it or not, find that sweet spot, just pull it right in the bow tape, and there it is. You know, and once it's set, it's done. Not necessary, you can kind of wing it. And you find that, you know, like I said, that sweet spot. Now, as far as the trim, okay, that is another issue that people tend to overlook. These boats do not plane, you know, it's not like a regular boat. These kayaks, I should say, not a boat. So what I do is I just have it set on mine, which is the third one from the front. And if you look at it right now, it's slightly negative, I mean, ever so slight. So what it's going to wind up doing is pushing that nose down. But remember, it's going to push down and slightly lift the bow. So it's not really a negative in a sense when it's running. But when it powers, it's going to wind up pushing. And I could probably go one more up. As a matter of fact, I'll try that, see what my speed difference is. I'll just crank that bolt back out and go with the second one and see how it lifts the bow if it's any faster. You know, the gas tank is on board if I need it. Everything else is good to go. I do have my Sonar hooked up, which I haven't tried yet, but I did move my seat back here, as you guys can see. It was at least a foot forward, and I can tell you right now, the control on the boat was night and day. Night and day. Motor performance was different. I don't know what I got speed-wise. Let's look. I don't know what the max on it was. 6. You can kind of see it right there. 6.0 was the max, but you know, still, this boat's got more. It was rough. I definitely couldn't get any more speed out of it. But I'm going to move that engine up a little bit, see if I can see what the difference is and run this thing, and we'll go from there. And then I will check the Sonar. The Sonar has been changed since the original video that I posted. The original video had the Sonar up on a pulley system, and I now made it a permanent attachment, which I could just unscrew when I don't want it. And the leg does not get in the way of the prop wash. Otherwise, you would see the Sonar head just completely destroyed right now. So all good there. So I'm going to go ahead and literally pivot this motor up a little bit, see how the bow raises, and we'll go from there. All right, and I'll catch you some more video on the other side. Alright guys, so check this out. The transducer mount is on the side of the engine leg, and I just turned it on for the first time, and we got pretty good readings, 2 feet, which is about right, 69 degrees in the water temp. I'll have to play with the bottom. I'm not sure, I gotta figure out how to read this stuff. I guess today's gonna be a play day when I anchor, but yeah, that's pretty cool, man, actually. So I did raise it up a little bit. Now we're gonna go for a ride and then we'll do some fishing. But yeah, I raised it up literally 1 click, which is 7 degrees. So the bow lift should be a little bit better. Now I hope once my big butt gets in here that it'll push it down, probably give me a little more negative, I'm not sure. I will say something about this Nucanoe mount though. It doesn't squeeze nearly as tight as I'd like it. The motor still has a little bit of shift in it, which I don't know if that really means anything at the end of the day. But this is what I was mentioning earlier about how far away it is from the back. This is just my preference. I'm only about 5'10 and a half, 11, I don't know, somewhere around there, about 205. And I find that this area tends to be the best, so I can spin everything around, nothing's in the way, plenty of forward space. Plenty of forward space. All right, so we're gonna go for a ride. Let's see what we got. Hopefully we get some better numbers. So I've had some inquiries about the gas tank situation, because they don't make 1 gallon tanks in the marine size. So I kind of just rigged up a 1 gallon. This is my vent, so when I want to put fuel in it, I just pop that off. And from that point, I actually put a secondary on and off, because when they disconnect, I don't want gas running all over the place. For some reason, that tank doesn't have baffles in it, so it creates a little more pressure. But I ran a second on-off switch for the disconnect. Fuel filter running around, dumps into the top cap. I made sure all the clamps were super tight. I was getting air last time, and it was kind of sucking air and gas at the same time. Wasn't too fun, but it's working fine now. There we go. So this is kind of why I have an engine on these kayaks. This gentleman here, he's kayaking. I don't know if you guys can see him. It's taken him 25 minutes to get literally a 1/4 of a mile. Not even that. I want to say 1/4 of a mile. I'm talking about 1/8 of a mile. I mean, this poor guy, he's gonna kill himself by the time he even gets to that bridge. I mean, you can see the wind, guys. Look at the palm trees up there. They're no joke. I mean, it is blowing, man. But this guy has been struggling to push this boat forward. And I'm over here dinking around with my engine. You know, he's probably think I'm crazy. I'm not a purist, but So I moved the engine up about 7 degrees to see how it's gonna help with the bow rise. All right, I reset the counter, so we're gonna see, I got the nose coming up a little bit more. So we're gonna see what kind of speed we get out of this. But these boats are ridiculous today, man. They could care less about paddlecraft. So going with the current 6.7 average speed going in and out and around 5.3. So it really depends on current, but your average speed's 5.3, 5.2, 5.3. I'm gonna go the other way now. It's gonna get a little rougher, so I may not go as fast, so we'll see. 6.7 is coming off the trough most likely. Seems like the same numbers with the bow coming up a little more. But it's rough, man. You're gonna be in the 5s all day. Transducer arm's working awesome. Has to skip the beat. I'm gonna go back over and fish a little bit, see how it works. Now this is cruise speed right here. We're in high 4s right now. .1 right there. 5.1. Still got like 2 more clicks. It's just rough. Really not necessary, I guess. So I'm gonna cruise up here and check the bottom out. Depth finder's working killer. Oh my god, I forgot I had it on when it was running. Oh, I didn't even know. I should have turned it off, but oh well. I guess it's made for that. I don't know. It's working really well. I didn't think it would work when it's running, but I'm wrong. I thought the transducer arm would cause a vibration or something. Sweet. And that really shouldn't give any drag on the rear, not in my opinion. So we're running it off of a Dewalt battery. It's a 20-volt battery that's been blocked down voltage-wise to a 12-volt, 6 amp hour. There's fishies right there. Look at that. That's pretty cool. I think I'm gonna have to fish around here. What was I saying? And these are all in the rear, by the way. The transducer's in the back. People, you know, have asked me why I don't put it off to the side. To me, it's just something else that gets in the way. It's gonna break. That's just the way I roll. I try not to have anything on my sides. I'm clumsy. Yeah, I can see where it gets staticky when you're running, and when you're not running, it clears up. That's pretty cool though, still. But anyway, so yeah, so this thing will run all day. It's been on for a while now, but I couldn't imagine it not working throughout the day. Wow, look at those fish there. I think I'm gonna have to park my butt here. Anyway, so there we go. So I'll get some more numbers on the way back in. Just gonna fish for a little while and see what we got. There are fish here.